yourself to feel it. Now the thing that most people don't realize is emotions actually create thoughts, create emotions, create thoughts. So thoughts actually think themselves. So even once you've expressed the emotion, because we have 60,000 thoughts a day, these thoughts keep going over and over and over again. So what I like people to realize, I teach this in my workshop, every topic is two topics, having it and not having it. One side you've got it, the other side you don't. So if you think, okay, the most common reason for stomach problems is the thought of, I'm not good enough, there's a lot of fear there. So fear gets stuck there. The opposite side is, I am good enough, I am perfect, I am amazing. But when you just say it that way, it doesn't stick. So you got to start really, really general with your statements. For example, I've made it this far. I am doing this. I am okay. And the more you do that, the easier it gets. So recognizing and expressing is a huge thing. And the next step is to state your statements and get your head wrapped around that things are working out for you. And then those 40,000 thoughts a day will actually start to shift and you'll actually start to feel better. The other thing I always tell people is that the more you can be in the moment now, it'll make a huge difference. When we're in the now, we're more likely to be in the emotions of joy, of love, and of well-being. Thoughts of fear or anger or blame, they're past or they're future. But the more we're in the now, the easier it is. So an emotion is energy in motion. It wants to move through your body. So first you feel it, you express it, you play with the back and forthness of thoughts. And the last thing I always recommend is to start an appreciation journal. When we're actually at the end of the day appreciating what we're feeling, appreciating our life, appreciating what we're going through, then what happens is through the day, you'll actually look for things to appreciate. I was driving in this morning and thinking, wow, what a beautiful day. That's something to write in my appreciation journal tonight. So the more often you do that, the more you'll be in the now. Then the emotions get expressed and then you actually can clear what's stuck in the stomach. So those 500 million neurons that are lining the stomach, as you get it out, you start to shift more often, then those neurons actually get happier and they actually get to release. A lot of people nowadays have gluten insensitivity, and there's 30% of people that avoid gluten, and there's only 1% that are actually truly celiac disease. So by doing this, I myself have the same problem. By doing this, we can actually eat pizza again. We can actually feel good again. We can actually feel happy in our body again. So it's actually quite cool.
So it's part of a journey that you need to start on. And slowly, do you find that your patients are able to resolve their gut issues on their own?
100%. It takes a bit of work and patience. It's the core of what I teach people. But with time, with practice and patience, it is a journey. There's no question, it's a journey. But the more you start, the easier it gets. But if you don't start, then the stomach will just get worse and it'll develop into something else. But it is a journey, and yeah, I've seen it with lots of people. It's the core of my teaching. Yeah.
We have another question. Annette in Langley writes, I've battled insomnia for years. I've tried so many methods to get to sleep. What do you recommend?
Great question. Insomnia is a huge issue, just like stomach problems. So with insomnia, the first thing I would tell you is the most common thing is that the mind's been churning all day. So the obvious things, avoid caffeine during the day, try not to watch TV or computers after about 5 or 6 p.m., but watch the mind during the day. Same as what we talked about with gut issues. The more you can be in the now, the more you can actually see what's happening right now, then it's easier to shut the mind off. If you're more future-based, then when you go to sleep at night, it's impossible to fall asleep. So it's a big part of the workshops I teach is how to do that. And I'm actually in Kelowna in a couple of weeks and Vancouver and Surrey in a couple of weeks as well, teaching these tools.
All right. Yeah. A lot of people can make use of them. If you have more questions for Dr. Shanda, check out her website, drdivi.com. And if you'd like to win a copy of Divi's new book, send us an email, weekendnews@globaltv.com. Be sure to include your full name, address, and phone number. Next week, Realtor Sarah Daniels is back. If you're buying, selling, or just curious about real estate, feel free to send in your questions. Thank you so much, as always, for coming in. Good advice this morning.
That's why I like to speak my mind in the truth, that what people do to me is really very scary.
Is actually located just off
Love you.
6 on
Roller
the
Girl
west side
Vancouver.
of Lower Arrow Lake. And if you miss